Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going over all of the weapons. These guys loved the ranking system that we had from last time, and you guys wanted more of it. This is you guys' suggestion. You guys wanted this. So you guys wanted this pain just like you wanted it last time. Now we're back with another lovely video, and I'm joined by Alex, and I'm joined by Paradise. How are you guys?
Hey, I'm back.
I'm back.
Well, that's
stop stealing. Stop stealing.
Howdy doody.
No, don't do this. Don't do this. So we're going to go through. It's going to be slightly different from last time. Rather than us essentially going through taking turns on each of the individual subjects that we are categorizing, such as like a particular weapon, we're actually going to go through and come to a consensus all together, and then place that into the tier making chart. You know what I'm saying? So to start off with, this is going to be a fun video. Don't get too angry. Don't get too angry at us, guys.
It's just our opinion. And we're just having a bit of banter.
This is going to be a thing. There are certain weapons that are just clapped, so don't worry about that. If you're using one of those clapped weapons, please cry. No, let's go in. What's the first weapon?
Greatsword.
Greatsword.
Hey, listen, it's in the name, right? It's a great weapon. It is. Like, the thing is, it might not be as flashy as other weapons, but I will say it is
not as
still
technical.
Single hit does still provide the biggest single hit in the game, damage-wise.
True.
I just don't like weapons that there are silkbind moves that aren't useful. So that weapon needs to have like a silkbind school that like the skill is so. But I know, like, I'm saying this, but then there's exceptions to the rule on certain weapons that are coming up. But like, it just seems like the Greatsword has that. What's that flying move? And
Hunter's Edge.
You know what they should have done with that
move? You don't really do
move?
anything with it.
They should have changed that move. You know how the hammer's got the spinning bludgeon? Imagine that with a greatsword, and you just go. That would have been crazy. But I do still feel like it's like you're right in the context of Rise specifically. Greatsword might not have had the nicest. It's got the hunting edge, which is nice. It's cool. I like it. I think that's right. That's the name, right? The one where you sheath your weapon and get the power up.
Yeah.
That's
so I do feel like
that's
it
not
Power Sheath.
That's Power Sheath.
Oh, sorry,
That's
power sheath. That's it.
Yeah.
I do feel like it deserves respect, and thus it requires to be higher up in the list. I'm not going to put it in S tier because that's reserved for a certain weapon.
I feel like Greatsword is also like a beginner-friendly weapon because it's very simple to learn, still hard to master, but simple to learn in that you just like charging your chops.
What is a non-beginner weapon to you, Paradise? You love
something
every
like
weapon's
Charge
a
Blade. I actually think the ranged weapons, I wouldn't class them as beginner weapons because you need like a lot of resources and stuff as well. Hunting Horn I would have said wasn't a beginner's weapon, but now I think it more so is with the rework. So I think there are certain weapons that I would categorize as beginner ones. I would say Greatsword is one of them because it's quite easy to pick up.
Look, any weapon's a beginner's weapon because you can pick it at the start. How about that?
I just, you can't roast me like that because you're technically true.
So, I'm thinking Greatsword. B.
I'm thinking B. Yeah, I'm
thinking B. Like it can bring the deeps and it can do bits, and I do like the rage mechanic and the true charge slash, and it is there. It's like one of the wake up weapons. But yeah, I think B. So let's play that in B. Are we all in agreement? B?
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement. And keep in mind, we are speaking specifically about the Rise iteration. So like okay.
This is true.
All right.
Right. Next up, Hammer.
A hammer.
F tier.
Ooh. No. Whoa. No. You know what? I will say, right? Hammer is a very similar weapon where it's got some cool things, but in actuality, when you peel back a couple of cool new switch skill moves, and then you realize that you don't necessarily have to use them. For example, you don't use the new courage stance too much, you still use the strength stance. Realistically, when you don't use a lot of the new stuff they've introduced, it's kind of just World Hammer. Which is great.
Well, most of the weapons are just world weapons, right?
I feel like other weapons have got KO capabilities now,
Better.
which even better, and it sort of has taken that away from it. Because you think about when you want to use the hammer because you want to break the horns or the face and you want to get KOs, right? But now, like, like bow can do that now. Like other weapons can do impact file charge plays, obviously, that they could before. You've even got like exhaust switch axes and stuff like that. So I feel like it's the greatsword that can KO, but it just doesn't do it that great. And
I know what's really good about it. The water stance thing is really cool, and impact crate is really cool, but
yeah.
I don't even see people playing hammer anymore. Like, I know there's an avid base of hammer users out there, but I don't see anybody really use. Like, if I go into a lobby, there's no one using hammer.
I will say, yeah, I definitely
rare.
don't see it as much these days. Yeah, I will say there's a couple of things I do really like, though. I also like the fact that when you switch between stance, you kind of get the dash and you get the instant level 3. So it's got a nice setup for impact creator. It's got some really nice moves, and I do like. It's funny because I am, outside of being like a sword and shield main, like I've really liked hammer for like a lot of games, and I often kind of end up sort of defaulting it to it for a while. I will say that I felt less compelled to use it in Rise. Like, I've spent time with it. I've spent a good time with it, and I know it. I like it. I'm competent with it. But I definitely feel like, when I jumped into World, for example, and like had some of the new things like the spinning attack and stuff, I was like, yo, this is super cool. I didn't feel like I was as excited about it in Rise. I do still think it's a great weapon. I'm not going to put it F tier. I would probably put it C tier.
Is it a hipster weapon now?
Okay.
Because like less people use it.
I've got a fair question for you, Alex. Would you rather, if you're going to go out on a hunt, and you were prepared and had a 6 set for both of these weapons, which one would you pick? The hunting horn or the hammer?
I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I still prefer the hammer. Even though hunting horn is crazy right now, there's just something in my hunter's being that I'm just not a horn user, man.
Oh my gosh. I am not sure about this hammer. I'm not going to put it in F tier like I said at the beginning, but I'm definitely not going to put it any higher than B at most.
Okay, wait, I need to chime in on my ranking for this, because we will have to agree, okay?
Yeah.
Out of all the weapons, I don't think I rate any of them lower than the hammer right now. So therefore, I think it has to be D or F, and I'm thinking maybe there's a couple others I would put in D, but are they hammer D right now? I just feel like other weapons got more, and hammer got kind of left behind. Even though it got new stuff, you just don't end up using it, and it's not as important. And there are nuances that are nice about it, but if you're gonna take a hammer, are you like you say, are you gonna take a hunting horn instead, or are you just gonna take a greatsword to hit those big damage numbers?
You know what it is? Everybody that's been playing hammer will continue to play hammer because that's their like main weapon. Like the Church of Hammer is strong, and I agree with you guys. Hammer is a fun weapon to play, but compared to the other weapons in this game and the changes that they've got, it's just not as exciting there. But Impact Creator is hot. Impact Creator is fire. It is a sick move. But
It's so cool, but it's still 2 like bugs, and it's still a long cooldown, and it's still got huge like wind up and end lag. So it's so different. I don't want to give any weapon F.
There's only one weapon that belongs in F, and it isn't hammer. Let's put it that way.
Sword and shield.
No! How dare you?
Alright,
take that
where
back.
we put it? D?
C. Let's go
You know
C.
what?
Let's
D.
go C.
I'll take D.
Okay.
I would do D.
My pardon me. Alright. Alright.
I can't say that it's C.
Yeah. Alright. C.
Just leave it there for now.
I don't think it could be C.
Alright, C. We'll leave it there for now.
We have adjustment. Cool. Dual blades.
S
tier.
No.
A.
They are
not.
so
Definitely
good now. You have aerial dual blades is back.
Not.
You have a built-in single silk bug counter that is like not even that long of a cooldown. You got Fury Demon mode for 20% extra damage. Like this is the best iteration of dual blades in any Monster Hunter game. Like,
yeah, but you're still hitting for like 2 though.
The dual blades combo is so incredible. You can still hit low individually, but over like a 10-second time span of your combo with like the cloning DPS like kunai, it's still doing a tremendously good amount of damage. It is
A at max.
I put it A, right? Because the thing is, I agree with what Powerhouse said in that it is the most fun, probably the greatest iteration so far of dual blades thus far in Monster Hunter. There's some fantastic new additions to it. It does have some good damage potential, not necessarily the highest, but there are some very, very nice damage options for it. From a sheer fun point of view, it's super cool. I will say, like, if you were to kind of be super critical, you know, you've got like a couple of variations on like demon mode and stuff, which are, you know, they obviously do have their discernible differences and they are very useful, but there's a couple of things that feel quite similar in that, like, hey, I've changed my switch skill, but it doesn't feel hugely different in their same respects. But
Demon Flight doesn't feel different to you?
no, it does. No, it does. Oh yeah, Demon Flight. Yeah, but the point is, right, I feel like some things have got something so like drastically different, whereas
like cloning your damage.
Yeah, there's literally one that's just like, yeah, you hop onto the air, and the other one is like you pierce them with a kunai and clone your damage. And
that's what I mean,
like,
but it's
they
got a
don't
couple
feel
of
different.
No, but look, right, hop into the air.
No, I get what you mean.
Like,
you're still just like slashing like
Yeah.
crazy, like you always have on dual blades. But it's got those nice things in the kit. It is the most stylish weapon in the game. IMO.
So,
the fact
I'd put it somewhere between A and B.
A and B.
it's A or
I'm
it's
putting it
S
A. I'm putting
in
it
my
A.
opinion.
I'm
but
putting it A. I'm putting it A. Putting it A.
yeah, I think I could. I do.
I think
would
that's the
put it
middle
in
ground,
S.
right? It's like
Yeah,
Alex
that's
is
the
B, you're S, I'm A, so let's say it's A tier. It's A tier.
I'll take that.
Insect Glaive.
Oh,
Very fun weapon.
It's so good again.
This
Very
is
fun. A.
one of its best
A.
iterations. I'm going to say A. It's not even that
Yeah.
like great for putting out DPS. It isn't that crazy for like speed runs. It's pretty up there, but it's not crazy. But
it's
I
the
would put
redemption
it-
arc, though. It's the redemption arc, right? It's the fact that Insect Glaive went from the demo where they showed you these clapped, these boring switch skills, and everyone was like, "This weapon is dead. If you use Insect Glaive, you're a clown." And then suddenly they're like, "Oh, but by the way, did we tell you it gets more powerful when you do aerial attacks? Oh, pair that with Diving Wyvern, and suddenly you can pierce a monster for some astronomical damage. Okay, there's a big setup for it, and are you able to do that reliably all the time? Maybe not, but." You are right. What you said at the beginning, it is the best iteration of Insect Glaive to
yeah.
date. And
All the
because
new
of the new
Kinsects
changes,
as well.
the double Kinsects are fantastic, and the fact that they have done some aerial buffs means you can actually play it as the weapon was intended, which is there is some value in the air. Maybe it's not always the best way to play, but at least it's different to World, where it was like you're only in the air if you want to mount, otherwise get your ass on the floor. Whereas now it's like, all right, you know. So
it's the best
I'd put it
iteration of it, but it still doesn't like do the aerial thing crazy good like I want it to do. Like I want it to be hitting nasty hard like in the air.
Yeah, you want to be like
but
you have to
it
be in
hits
the air for
hard,
this weapon.
but it doesn't hit like crazy
yeah.
hard.
If it had some kind of stance like dual blades, where you had like a ground stance and an aerial stance that like, you know, buff one, nerf the other. So if you're going for an aerial build, you really lean into that and forsake ground damage, and vice versa or something.
It doesn't even need that.
That would be cool.
All it needs is just a skill called aerial attack boost. And then just have it there and have it so it's like 100% more damage in the air or some stupidness like that. There's just something fun. There's something
what would
fun
be cool?
with
If it was aerial attack boost, and then in the process of pulling it off, it pulls you into the sky, but then you know how like normally you can only do 3 of those aerial moves back to back and then you fall regardless of stamina? If you did that and it just let you stay as much as you want in the sky,
it. Fun times.
now we're talking.
Fun times. And then
I
you
think
actually
like
see
B or
aerial
A.
moves. B, because there is room for improvement. I feel like the dual blades is there, but like not there. But like the Insect Glaive is so cool. It's best iteration in Rise yet, but it still has like some core issues to really be moved up into like S or A. Okay. All right, next weapon, light bowgun. If anyone says S tier, like by far, like this weapon is the best weapon in like one of the best weapons in the game.
You know what, right? Had it been me a week ago, before I was introduced to the light bowgun, when these guys were like, please have a light bowgun set just so we can farm their orders.
We forced you to make a light bowgun build because you were like, I don't believe it is trash, and we're like, make the build right now, bring it into a hunt, and you will see. And what did you find out?
All I'm saying, right, is that this has never happened in my Monster Hunter history. Even when I'm not playing with you guys, I've been using this. Sometimes I'm just like, I just want to get this done. I don't want to get close to Teostra. I've been using the light bowgun.
It's just a nice weapon to have in your repertoire. Like
I will say though.
Yeah.
Right, I agree with you. It belongs in S tier. It is a damage powerhouse. I will still say I personally would put it down just because it's not very exciting. Right, I don't find the playstyle very exciting. It's boring. This is like watching paint dry the Monster Hunter experience. Right, I'm just like I slide, I sit, I shoot. But it's effective, so if we're talking from an effective damage point of view, 100% S tier. If I was putting the fun factor in, I'd probably drop it down to maybe A or B. But
yeah, but like because you know what it is, it's just useful. That's the thing about it. Like if you want to go in and you want to build like some status KO build or something to kind of help your friends get through a hunt that they're having a hard time, you can run that. If you just want like pure damage, you've got that. If you want to slice the tail, you've got that. Like the Magnum Arlo Bowgun, like Bowgun does it all. If you want a build for that, you can go check it out on one of the videos that we've made recently. It's there. Definitely make it, guys, if you want like a go-to build for like any fight. If you, I know there's going to be a bunch of people being like, "Oh, you just want it easy." Sometimes you just want to chill. It's not every hunt that we take the light bow gun in, but sometimes you just want to chill. If I'm making a video and I'm trying to talk to you guys, sometimes it's nice to have a light bow gun in the background. You don't need to use this weapon. You don't need to, but it's just nice to just have in your repertoire, go on a hunt with it, get your materials and get out. If you want to go in a hunt with your other weapons, you also got them. It's a fun time. You know what I'm saying?
They made it slightly less boring though, because at least you have like the silk skill where you either do the huge drift or you do like the jump and you can like shoot or drop like a mine below. So it's not like in like World and previously, like it was literally 100% just standard shoot and just slowly reposition as you shoot. But now at least you've got some like spice in there. But it, like you say, it's just really nice to have. It does everything, and it's nice to have. And sometimes you just want to shoot the monster, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you that.
It's good at breaking parts. It's good at cutting the tail. It's good at knocking the monster out. It does everything. Set it bang. All right.
Bang.
All right. Next one is the switch axe.
My old main, my precious.
It's great.
All right, you know what? I'm going to start this off.
Yeah, go on.
This is my traditional main. I always will love switch axe. Switch axe got some cool things in Rise. It got the soaring plunge, wyvern plunge, or whatever. Is it wyvern plunge? Soaring plunge move, you know, which you can use to like animation cancel like zero-sum discharge end lag. You can use it to build up like your new file. Your file charge. Then it's like they iterated the way the files work with like the charge speed, and you've got like lots of different like status files and different things that you can do. But outside of that, and rapid morph as well, and a whole new skill that is like basically like it's charge speed as well, but it's basically better for it's like really best in slot for switch axe. Yeah, it's like a whole skill that they kind of like had switch axe in mind for, which is really good and completely changes up your combos with how you play switch axe. But with all of that being said, it just still doesn't feel all that different. I'm still doing like, you know, similar sort of attacks. Maybe I'm doing more morph attacks now with rapid morph, but the flow is kind of still the same in that you're repeating combos. You're not hugely mobile while you do it. Obviously, you have your like side hops to like compensate for that. And zero-sum discharge is still as good as it ever is, even though that you have like huge sharpness loss on it now, which they like took away that buff from Iceborne. So when I pick up switch axe, maybe because I've played it so much in the past, I just don't feel like I'm experiencing as much new differences on it as I am with some of the other weapons with the changes they've had. So I don't know where you guys are, but I'm thinking for switch axe like I would say B, but I want to know what you guys think.
I'm kind of like B's fine for it. I think
B's
that's
fair.
bit high, but I think B's fine.
Like C or B. Like I agree. Like there's definitely there's some cool new stuff. Like switch axe is still fun, 100%. If you never picked it up, like it's a great fun weapon to use. But again, I see your point. It falls into the category of there are some new things, there are some cool new things, but not as drastically different as before. So yeah, it's alright.
I feel like it needs like, I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong, and I just haven't found out about the iframes on like the silk bamboos, or some of not utilize some of the silk skills like greatly. Does it have like a counter? I feel like that's what's like missing, really. Like maybe a counter that kind of
Doesn't have
maxed out.
There's
your
no
files.
counter. There is iframes in the Silk moves.
Yeah.
You do have like certain mobility in like your backwards morph attack and your side hops. Like Evade Extender is really good now, so it like works really good on Switch Axe. But yeah, I feel like because like Switch Axe and Charge Blade are kind of similar in that they both have like 2 different modes. But Charge Blade has like the file mechanic on top of that with the guard points like on top of that, whereas Switch Axe is just has your like your sword mode that you like hit the file pops with, and it's just not as like as many. It's just not as technical. It just doesn't do quite as much.
I think it.
But I think it's definitely higher than a hammer. Though.
You know what it is with Switch Axe? I don't think it's hit its stride yet. I think once like 3.0 comes out and beyond, and we've got way more slots on our stuff, and like all of the kind of status stuff comes into play a lot more, it's going to hit its stride, because that's how it was in World, right? I don't think it's had its time to shine. Maybe even if it gets like a Rampage skill that can be applied like Hellion onto it, that does something to do with like the files or whatever, it will like be boss. But right now, beta.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Yep.
Like you say, a counter would be so cool on it. Put it into like, make it do like sword play, like counters. I guess that's longsword actually. Never mind. So it needs something more, you know.
Yeah, definitely. So the next thing, hunting horn. What are we saying? The doot.
Oh, it's a point of contention. The changes to Rise. A lot of people were unhappy with it. A lot of people were happy with it. Personally, I think it's so fun now. I really like the changes to it. It sort of frees you up to focus on like positioning more so, and like making sure you're doing like specific combos rather than having to like queue up your melodies, because you just, if you use the new mode, you just like play them automatically. You know, they kind of nerfed it from the demo, which is
the nerf.
It was so strong
right now, isn't it? I've completely forgotten that they nerfed it. It was gonna be an S rank weapon. It was going to be an S rank weapon, and then they just nerfed it.
This is the thing, right?
Didn't nerf some of the other weapons.
This is the thing. It's like in the demo, everyone was like, but I think everyone was like ever so slightly skewed. Like in the demo, everyone was like, oh yeah, I mean, it did good damage, obviously. But what I meant was, it was like, because it was so drastically different. Like in the demo, like some weapons were like, oh, I know this feels like World, plus a few new things. The demo of Hunting Horn was just like, whoa, this might as well be a 15th weapon. It plays so drastically different. So everyone was sort of so gravitating towards it, like, yo, this is incredible. But then the game comes out, and I don't see that many hunting horn
because
in the grand scheme.
They nerfed it like disgustingly. Like you don't understand like how much they nerfed it between the demo and the thing. It was like the bar. Say the bar was like 100%. They brought down a bunch of emotion values to about like 30, 60. That's
not only that. When like I was playing the hunting horn in the demo, and as soon as it clicked with me of how strong it was, I was all over. I was loving it. I was like, I am a hunting horn main. I advocated for that weapon in all of the videos. We dived into some of the nuances of it for specific videos and stuff. And when the game launched, you had like this big influx of hunting horn users because it had changed a lot, and because everyone was talking about it from the demo. But then over the next like weeks of launch, you just, at least I feel like you just saw this huge drop off in people, because everyone was like, it's not like it was in the demo. They've done something to it, and you know, upon further testing, it was tweaked down. So
it's still very
bring
good.
back demo hunting horn.
It's still very good. I think it just needs to be put up a little bit more so that more people use it. It's one of those weapons that if it isn't like very strong, then you're just gonna have a niche amount of the player base actually like playing it, and they're going to advocate for the hunting horn. Shout out to Shadow Mains, he loves a little bit of hunting horn, and they're going to obviously like play that, but you want more people playing it because it also brings the damage, because of the way that psychologically people just see it as a support weapon. It's going to be hard sell for people to like pick it up as well, even though like we all know that it's really good. Even without the buff changes and how good it was in World, even without all of the changes and stuff, it was like still a fun weapon to use, to support your team, to get damage in, to KO the monster. It's basically like a hammer of sorts with like support capability. But yeah, without the extra deeps, people are not gonna, little Timmy's not gonna pick it up. So I feel like
Yeah.
it might be B, you know, but I'm thinking it's A. But it might be B.
I'm kind of thinking A as well. It still is really good, and you've got like the raging. It has so much buffing that even in its like, you know, nerfed from the demo state, even in world where it wasn't even like arguably as like damaging, because you buff everyone else so much, it brings it brings it up, you know. And in the right team, buffing 3 other hunters with like, you know, an attack up and then a raging like the Infernal Melody or however it's called for another attack buff on top of that could like single-handedly bring that weapon above all else's DPS in the right like team setup. But you don't see those damage numbers, so it doesn't feel as satisfying.
Yeah. It's very good. It's a very good utility weapon. They're like, regardless of deeps or whatever, it's got so many like it's just useful. It's a useful weapon. It's got so much like capacity to be used in a team, even in solo hunts, the buffs, the songs, everything so cool. And you know what as well, even though we're putting it into A, it's got like a move that nobody really uses, the resonance bead. I just like that. I like the concept of it. I know no one's really using it as much, but I wish they did more with it.
It's a
like,
totem.
I really like it. Yeah, it's a totem. It's like a cool concept for like Monster Hunter. I want them to do like more with it. I don't see people using it like the heal mechanic, like the triple heal buff thing with the Sonic Waves as much. So the next weapon is one of my favorites, and I think you're a person of culture if you use this weapon. So we're going to put this into S tier.
Whoa, no. Excuse me. Hey, listen, right? Yeah, but Lance is a great weapon. Don't get me wrong, it's a great weapon. But I mean,
this is a C tier.
You don't really do much. Yeah, you don't do too much new stuff. You're still poking. You're still just poking, counter and poke, and yeah, it's cool. You know, it's pretty basic. I'll put it as B for basic.
I think it's C. I think it's C tier. I think not only. All right, first of all, I don't play a lot of Lance, so I'm speaking with not enough. This is just like opinion based. This is not from like playing it loads, okay? So I could be completely wrong. I understand that. But when I have played Lance, I feel like it's one of the most boring weapons. You're just poking constantly, timing your counters or your guards, and you're just... It's like, at least with the light bowgun, you have like all your different ammos, and you're doing like work on the monster. Whereas with the Lance, it's just like... It's like the same thing. You're just poking constantly, hit a counter, poke a bit more. No,
I mean, I
dodge,
do enjoy the
sidestep, hit a little guard, poke some more, and you just repeat that for 10 minutes until the monster dies. I think it's for that reason alone. I just think it's not that fun. But I get that you can be really like offensive with the weapon because you can just stick to the monster, but it doesn't do that much damage either. I don't know,
guys in the comments. What we saying? Is the Lance a defensive weapon or an offensive weapon? Please discuss. That
should be a whole video.
It is a defensive weapon.
No.
But I like it. I think it's good. I think it's a good weapon. I agree. The playstyle is, you know, it's basically a melee version of a bowgun in that it's quite a simple playstyle. You can add some nuance to it. You can add some complexity if you start factoring in like there's some, like, this was introduced in World, obviously isn't as new, but like there's some nuanced movement between the backdash and the way you can kind of like jump around and stuff. But like ultimately, you're gonna stand there, you're gonna poke, and you're gonna counter. I still think it's a good weapon. I just don't think it's hugely exciting. And even on the Silkbind front, like there's some cool moves, but I don't feel like, you know, there could have been some really cool things. Like, I know there's the drill one where you go bam, but I'd rather they amplify that and just turn it into like a Gurren Lagann style drill where you just go like pile drive through a monster.
You know what they should have done, Alex?
What's that?
They should have let you play Lance on the Palamute as like a mounted weapon. You can. That's what Lances are for. Like, you're either using a spear on a front line, which is obviously not a lance, or you're using a lance on a horse as a cavalry unit, right? If you can ride your Palamute and you've got your shield and your lance, you're doing drive-bys. You can
imagine
really
the
cool...
speed.
Just make it that.
Imagine the speed. Imagine this is the only weapon that could be used on a Palamute. Like, that would be amazing.
That would make it so cool. I would take the time to really try and learn the weapon.
I feel like the Lance is unappreciated, right? You guys just don't know the nuance of the Lance, right? The Silkbind moves, like there's one where you activate it, the Twin Vine. It's got a counter at the front, you get a buff for doing like the counter, and you get like extra deeps off of the buff, and you do a little attack.
that's nice. It's nice. It's
Cool.
nice, that one. That is nice.
You got like you can like counter to basically anything. So if you do counter stuff with the silk bamboos, you also get like another damage buff using the other silk bamboos. You've got one where you kind of jump towards the monster in the air.
jump one's cool.
You can get like aerial damage off. It's great. It's a great weapon. You've even got like a charge slash move where if you counter, you can get like extra damage. It's a good weapon.
Yeah, but you're explaining the greatness of the weapon, and it all comes down to you can do a counter and then you can poke them. You know what I mean?
Don't
you
do
know-
the lance
you know-
like this, man.
in the video game Worms, right? You got like the rocket launcher, you got the concrete donkey, and then you got a poke.
True.
That's the lance.
All right, on to the next weapon, heavy bowgun.
F tier.
I agree.
No way.
F tier.
No.
I agree.
Dog.
Oh, wait.
It's outclassed by the light bowgun, so it's just dog.
It is the
They gave
spread
everything-
builds are the spread builds have real good things. That's all it has, right? Is the spread builds. I'll be brutally honest. The light bowgun does everything else better right now, but spread builds are nice still. Shotgunning, and I guess like
There's sticky builds for it that work really well and are like some of the best performing like sticky builds in the game. But I just feel like it doesn't do. What did it get? It got Wyvern heal, so you can shoot and heal at the same time.
Who uses that? In the comments, if you use that, please tell me who uses that.
You got the counter one that isn't great. So they've added the sick mechanic where you can charge the shots, but some of the time it's not necessarily worth it to charge the shots because you could shoot the same amount of shots in that time. The ones that it really works well on is if you charge your shots and you use it for like status or a couple of the other the ones to get additional damage, but it's rare that you actually like end up like using that much. So I don't know.
Also,
yeah.
go on.
I was just gonna say they need to lean into the special ammo that the heavy bowguns have, and make those like more viable to like be your primary like usage for your build, or just like go back into how it was in World, where you could really spec into like these like tanking heavy bowgun builds with the shield mod, and you like spec guard up and guard, and you're just in the monster's face constantly just tanking it and shooting it.
Definitely.
The thing is, as well, as somebody that is not a bowgun user who has recently come over to the light bowgun lifestyle, right? I mentioned how light bowgun is not a hugely exciting playstyle, but at least I'm mobile. Heavy bowgun is the epitome of boring playstyles. It's more mobile than ever. Don't get me wrong. It's the most mobile it's probably been in a long time, but it's still like the boring playstyle paired with walking through molasses. I don't like it. F.
That's what bubbly dance is for.
F. F, D, or C.
F.
I mean, alright, let me phrase this to you, okay? Would you rather have a guy with a hammer come into your hunt, or a guy with a spread or a sticky heavy bow?
Hammer.
Okay, it's cool. C tier, then.
Like, being brutally honest, yeah.
We need to downgrade that hammer a little bit, you know.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, next up, one of the god tier
There is
weapons of the game.
Without question,
S
F
tier.
tier.
S tier. S tier. By far. S tier. It's literally broken.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say broken. I would just say it's
Strong.
What do you mean it's not broken? There's literally a skill where you can animation cancel and shoot 2 shots at once that when you know you're not meant to be doing that Paradise. That is broken.
I just think that I don't want them to nerf my bow. I just think that the way that you can stack skills together that allow you to play bow in that particular playstyle where you stay at maximum charge and you're like dash dance shooting just constantly is what makes the bow like so incredible. Because imagine that you couldn't hold 4th level charge. If they took that away from the bow and you're always cycling through, that would just like completely change how much output of DPS the bow has, right? It would probably still be okay, but it's by doing that the bow shines like so incredibly well.
It does everything. It's another one of those weapons that does everything. It does KO, it does status, it does damage, it does saving your friends. You can like It's got the arc shot if you want to buff your friends. It's got everything. It's literally.
Did
got
you
everything.
know? I didn't actually realize this as well. Someone told me in the comments if you take the arc shot that heals, you can actually like heal without like putting your weapon away. Basically, like which is quite a cool thing to have because not a lot of weapons can do that. So it does do everything.
There you go. It is literally like some nutty weapon in this game. It was nutty in World, and this has been nutty ever since. And the more nutty it gets, the less I play it, which is kind of weird.
I'm the opposite. The more nuts it gets, the more.
I'm a bow main, and I haven't gone on that many hunts with the bow in this game, which is just crazy.
I think the bow is like my highest hunted weapon now. Not even joking. I was looking at my guild card.
Of course
the other
it
day.
is.
I mean, okay, here's the thing, okay? Is it that it's overpowered, or is it that when it's put in the hands of someone who can consistently do the combo and consistently hit the weak point of the monster, that it is then overpowered? In the hands of someone, an average hunter, maybe they don't know the combo, maybe they do, maybe their aim just isn't like speed runner level good. Is it then still overpowered? That's where my mind is going.
Yeah, I don't know. I always feel weird talking about people at like a lower skill level because I always feel like anybody can attain our skill level, right? It's just a matter of time. The more time that they play, the more viable this opinion is going to be because come 100 hours or 200 hours, which is quite easy in World or in Arise, you can definitely like attain a level that is going to be using that type of like combo and doing that type of thing on a regular basis.
Because it's not hugely complicated, right? You just need to know it. So yeah,
it's not hugely complicated. So when people say like, I'm not as skilled as you guys, so I don't have these problems. Yeah, you will do though. You will do in a couple of hours. So yeah, this weapon, nuts, and will be nuts.
It's definitely S tier, like without question.
Yeah. All right, next weapon.
I'm enjoying it as well.
A tier for the next one.
Gunlance.
Gunlance is fantastic. No, Gunlance is. Let me tell you why.
What are we saying?
This is the best iteration of Gunlance today. I feel like we said that a lot. Best iteration of Gunlance. Wait.
Okay,
you can launch yourself around the sky, right? Rocket propel yourself not once, not twice, but thrice. You can send yourself flying.
That's the only reason that I'm putting it in B tier, because it's got that rocket move.
No.
If not, it would have been in C tier.
No, but the thing is, right? It's also fantastic because they've shuffled things around. So like, Wide has now got some nutty KO potential, and then like Long and Normal are just great for like just shelling full burst playstyle. I will say, no, it belongs in A. It's a fantastic weapon.
No, it doesn't. You trying to say it's as good as Hunting Horn and it's as good as Dual Blades and it's better than the Insect Glaive and the Greatsword?
Okay, all right, B tier, B. No lower than B. No lower than B.
Let me phrase the question to you, okay? And 2-6, because you like Lance, specifically you primarily. I want to hear what Alex has to say as well. Why would you ever pick Lance over Gunlance? Because Gunlance is basically Lance, but with like a whole load more mechanics and a whole load more like flashy things, and also like more DPS.
Because you can stick to the monster more with the Lance because you've got more counters and you can counter more things.
Yeah,
and
Lance
it's
you still have counters on Gunlance, right?
And
no.
The Lance is not as sluggish as the Gunlance for doing stuff as well.
Yeah.
You're quite
mobile,
even though you're kind of stuck at the same time. It's kind of like a contradictory statement right there, but like if you're a Lance user, you know what I mean. You feel like you can get out of more stuff than the Gunlance there. So
okay, yeah. I was thinking B for it because as well as U2-6 because it's cool. It's a cool weapon, right?
Yeah.
And it has got some new flashy cool stuff, but it's definitely not like as cool as Dual Blades or like as beneficial as a Hunting Horn.
Yeah.
Cool factor.
See?
I'll give you B. I'll give you B. No lower than B. You can rock it blast your way around.
I could settle for B, but I am thinking like B minus.
B plus for the boosts.
All right, next one is Charge Blade.
Ooh.
I don't know where to put this.
Ooh.
As a Charge Blade technician, as a Charge Blade scientist, right? I tell you, Charge Blade is a fantastic weapon. It belongs in A, right? Because they've got some, again, it is the best iteration of Charge Blade to date, but also because you kind of got a lot of the stuff that was cool about Savage Axe mode from Iceborne that people liked, but better now because you don't have to just be like consuming through files. So there's a lot more ways to play it now. There are people are having some like issues recently because, well, I feel like this is a player issue more. People are just missing their SADs or their UEDs now, right? I'm just like, look, right, it's fine. But the fact is, there's a lot more ways to now power up. You can so quickly fill your files with that counter, or you can do the badass axe hopper from the sky. It is fantastic. I won't put it an S, but I will say A because it's great. It's still powerful.
What? The Charge Blade has always been good in every game. And because it's got like kind of different like aspects of the different modes, Savage Axe Slash, all of that stuff, I just feel like it will always be in A. Regardless of like the damage that it's actually maybe. If they took away the damage then maybe, but it's still it's just a cool weapon to use, and it's got some really cool like Silkbind skill. So
hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. I think it should actually be an S, and here's why. It is the model weapon. It's the model weapon for what you would want every weapon to be in terms of the amount of combos and the like the depth of the different things you can do on it. You know, it's got the two modes. It's got its own like unique like file system that's like intertwines with its like combos. It's got two different like completely different play styles with like UEDs or like Savage Axe. It has guard points in there. It has silk binds that counter, that also like fill your files. It has flashy silk binds with like the jumpy one, even though like you'd only really do that for style points. It does so much stuff. It is like what if every weapon could do as much as the Charge Blade? It would. Everyone would be happy.
Now you're saying it is a very odd weapon, right? It's like all the mechanics are just so nutty on that actual weapon. Like you literally get like some crazy ult on it that you can just do at any time. You've got like Mind's Eye like charging the blade. You've got the files on it for like element as well. You've got a bunch of different
KO.
aspects.
It has different the file types, like go into elemental for like the different type of UED.
Yeah, I wish every weapon had the deep core mechanics of Charge Blade. So yeah, we can put it in S tier. I feel like it definitely is a poster child for what I would want all the mechanics on other weapons to be like, because it's just so fun.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Yeah.
All right, next weapon.
S. Listen, right? This weapon has two S's in its name. S and S. Right? Let me tell you this. I'm going to say something. You'll be like, oh, I've not heard this before. This is the best iteration of this weapon to date. Right? But it genuinely is. Right? It has all of the crazy powerful combos from World. You have the Perfect Rush combo. You have, like, they've now brought... The nice thing as well is genuinely, kind of go back to some of the logic of the Charge Blade. They've also brought back... basically put value in things that you previously wouldn't have used. Like if you looked at World Sword and Shield, you'd be like, don't use the shield combo, that's rubbish. Don't use the guard slash, that's rubbish. Now, the shield combo is being used as like one of the most damaging combos, the hard basher combo into Spinning Reaper. You have Spinning Reaper that you can quickly add at the end of basically anything for some like insane damage, given how quick it is. I'm not talking like insane, like, alright, light bowguns kill something in 2 seconds, but given that how quick it is to put Spinning Reaper at the end of something, very quick. They improved Perfect Rush, getting rid of the annoying thing in World where it just launched you backwards, which was just ridiculous. And you have Metsu Shoryugeki, which is basically a counter, and also it's now a better hammer than the hammer because it KOs. You don't even need Slugger. You just go Shield Bash into Metsu.
So what you're saying
KO'd.
is that we should downgrade the hammer.
You know what? If it means the Sword and Shield gets to go in S, I'll downgrade the hammer.
Yeah, the Sword and Shield could go into S.
Well, hold on. Hear me out now. Okay. I think the Sword and Shield, much like the Greatsword, how it is a beginner-friendly weapon, I think the Sword and Shield is another beginner-friendly weapon. You pick it up, you can heal without like sheathing. You've got your little shield if you need it. You have like kind of, I would say you have more forgiving combos in that a lot of like inputs loop together and you have different combo enders, so it's not like you have to have this one specific rigid combo that you have to do or your DPS falls off massively. Obviously doing the better like DPS in combos will increase your DPS, but I feel like Sword and Shield is a easy to pick up, like hard to master weapon, similar to like the Greatsword is. So I do think it is more than the Greatsword, though. I think it should be one rank above Greatsword.
S.
A.
No.
Two A's.
S.
Two A's.
An S. S. An S. It's in the name. S.
No.
An S.
You know what? It's sword and shield. The A and for A.
It even has a counter. It has everything. It is almost as technical as the Charge Blade.
I wouldn't go that far.
It is a masterclass in what you should have in a weapon.
If
But you know
Metsu
what?
was a one Silkbind skill thing, I'll put it into S. But it's
But
not.
you got a windmill 2-6. You know, zoom.
All right, and then we have the longsword. What are we saying?
Oh, the longsword's pretty good though. I think, if I'm being honest, I think I would
A.
actually put it in A. Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about? It
I
literally
think
is
it's not
one of the
I
most
think
broken weapons in the game.
it is very good.
You know
and
what
you
it
do have to
is.
be skillful with it to
That's
be
what it
good
is.
as well.
You guys are just not skillful
Yeah.
enough to capitalize.
Well.
on
Don't
Okay.
put me in that bracket.
You're just noobs. You don't know what's going on. You just don't know what's going on.
I can do it. You just go swing, 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 counter, swing, swing, counter, and the monster's dead. It's true. It's powerful. I'll give you that. But is it better than Sword and Shield? I don't think so.
Oh no, it definitely is.
I don't think so. So
The
therefore,
question
it should belong in
is,
A.
it's not like, even though it's like this higher skill cap weapon with like perfect counter play style, it still isn't as technical as Charge Blade. It still doesn't do as much as bow and like Bowgun can. So it's like A plus or like S minus.
It's like a lance, just without a shield.
Nah, you guys are just not good. Into A, there you go.
Oh.
I don't need to rationalize why it's good. You guys are just not good, man.
Hey, listen, right? You can join me in A with my Sword and Shield that's been relegated to A.
What are we trying to say? Sword and shield and longsword are the same level.
Yep, 100%.
I think that
Can
sort of shield
longsword
might have to
KO?
go down to B.
Can longsword KO? Can longsword shield? Can longsword Metsu? Nah.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
but
meant to do
dual
that.
blades is definitely above SNS as well.
No way. Get out of here. It doesn't have a shield.
Doesn't need a shield. It has a counter built in.
All right. We've obviously got some disagreements here, so we're going to do a bonus round where we get a chance to move one weapon into a different tier.
I'm going
Each or
last.
all together.
I'm going last.
You're going first, Alex.
No, Paradise can go first.
No, I'm going last.
No, you see, no.
Alex, you're first up.
See, this is unfair because I'm going to move what I want to move, and then you're just going to move it back. It's your turn. Well, you know what? If that's the case, then I'm going to put Bow in F tier.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, take
Go
that.
on. Go on. Why do you think Bow needs to be an F tier, Alex?
No, there's no reason. It's just bonus round. I'm allowed to move it. I'm only moving it because I know that someone's going to strike me in a second with Sword and Shield, so I'm going to move it. No
Okay.
reason.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I can't believe I had to go first.
All right.
This
Paradise.
is a setup.
What are you moving?
All right. Here's my thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
You're either going to move hammer to D or longsword to S, and I'm happy with both of those changes, but we will not stand for an F tier bow. So put it back into S right now.
All right. So where we're standing right now is very good, and we just need to make one slight change. All right. Thank you. All right. Cool. Thank you. The world is balanced now, and it's everything.
I'm never coming back ever again.
ever again. So as you
Ever
can
again.
see, all weapons but sword and shield have got better in Rise. Everyone is like C and above. They're all very good weapons aside from the sword and shield. Let me just draw that in. Sword and shield, very bad.
Yes.
We all came to a nice consensus about this. So this is a chart that we're all in agreement with, isn't it? Right, Alex? Yes. So.
No.
Guys, if you enjoyed the video, we'll be back next time. Let us know what your changes would be. Remember, don't get too serious in the comments and get too angry about it. It's just a fun video, us going over discussing what the weapons are, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Paradise, you've got a video going out tomorrow, right? Because we're moving to a 2-day cadence on the videos, because we've got some other stuff to actually do at this moment. But so check Paradise's channel tomorrow. He'll have a video. I won't. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was super fun for us to actually do. If you have any suggestions for any other tier lists that you guys want us to do in the future, then let us know, and we'll get in there and be making that for you. Anyway, guys, bye bye.
Bye bye.
See you later.